Morning. Starting a couple minutes early so I can allow time for folks to roll in. Roll in, not roll out. Properly caffeinated this morning. It's important. Get this handy. Flip to the right page. My notes ready. Okay. So I'm going to provide you, good morning. I'm going to provide you with some prefaces. So I want to preface this video with the fact that I could never completely cover a topic as large as I'm about to cover in one video. Couldn't do it. Okay, this is a start. This is the beginning of something. And I'm not starting it. It's already started. Okay? It has already started. I have put links in the description. I'm pretty sure you can view those right now. Not sure if you can confirm that or not. There is a specific website that I did not write down. Good. So can you save to the chat or type in the chat, copy and paste or something, the website that says the word abolish? You mind doing me that big favor? Let's start with that one. So as folks roll in, just wanted to start off with that preface that I couldn't destroy the whole topic. But I have some good information. This was encouraged by one of the cohorts, Nathaniel Slattery. Look him up on YouTube. He's good. He's working his way through Genesis, and I really appreciate everybody that's reading their Bible, providing commentary. Obviously, Baldy Loves Bears doing a great job. Breath of Fresh Bear. All these guys, they're opening up their Bible, talking about it, and working together. There's more. There's more than just those guys. There's a dude that's doing Bible readings. He's been working through the book of Job. I think he's doing a great job. He's got a nice voice. Yeah, there's a lot of us that are trying to help make a change. So I'm not seeing it in chat. It's okay. Not a big deal. But there's a web link in there with the word abolish. You'll know what I'm talking about. So let me just start diving right into it. We don't have to wait for a huge crowd or anything like that, because folks are not all going to wake up for this. There's different time zones, all kinds of fun stuff like that. So there's a couple of big things about this. First, I want to say, and I put this in the description, but I'm going to say it too. The phrase or the word birth control words is a psyop. What do you mean by that? Well, it's kind of obvious. Okay? It's kind of obvious. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I couldn't see it because of the restrictions. Just the name without the .com is sufficient. But yeah, you're right. I'm sorry about that. I don't have any control over the link blocking that they do. They have the power to make people wrenches. I don't know if that's see who I might be able to make wrenches. Yep. Abolish human abortion. Yeah. All right, so abolishhumanabortion.com. That's the one. All right, so birth control. Why am I saying this? What is it controlling? Birth. What does that imply? That there's a human. Control. As if we have any. This is a big problem. Why don't people see this? You're getting really annoying. You need to stop that. All right. Birth control implies that we're stopping a human from being born. There's a big problem with that. If you don't see a problem with that, you probably didn't read the title of this video. Because if you read the title of this video, you're either a liar or you're just curious, or I don't know. Moving on. Well, do you have a better? Yeah, of course I have a better alternative from using a psychotic phrase like birth control. And it's actually already being used. Look up the word contraception and you'll see its uses. You'll see its chart of usage, which I found extremely fascinating. See this chart flow upwards, peak in the 80s, and then drop to the 2000s. Up, peak, down. This term contraception has lost popularity in the last 20 to 30 years, and it's diving. Contraception. Well, if you don't like that, that's okay. I came up with another alternative. Conception control. So, what's a form of conception control? Abstinence. That's one, but it's not the only. There are other methods to conception control. What does conception control imply? What does it imply? It means you're literally controlling and preventing conception. Meaning all of your effort is going into preventing human from becoming a human. Conception. Now, there's obviously arguments and debates regarding conception control and contraception. Against conception is all contraception means against conception. That's all that means. Some method to control conception. And yes, again, I understand there's debate. But what we're not doing is we're not killing a human. We're preventing one. And in as much as evil as may be done by preventing a human, I'm going to say by earthly standards, not necessarily spiritual standards, but by earthly standards, far, far better to prevent a human than to kill a human. If you want to argue the spiritual matters, then we'll do that at a different time. Okay. Moving on, that's a very side issue. So, abolishhumanabortion.com. That website completely blew my mind. Let me tell you why. Now, I posted a lot of links in the description. In my opinion, it's a lot of links. And there's way more. But I tried to post the ones that I felt like, based on my viewing, my research, were beneficial. They did good, and they weren't just money grabbing. But, good morning. But, Abolish Human Abortion impressed me overwhelmingly. Let me tell you why. AbolishHumanAbortion.com seeks no financial gain. Well, what do you mean by that? They don't want your money. They literally say, we don't want your money. Everything that they do, AbolishHumanAbortion.com, everything that they do is volunteer, as it should be. Because we should not be seeking personal gain at the expense of others in that regard. Now, is it bad or evil for Operation Rescue, for instance, to be taking money? No, not at all. They serve a purpose as well. I will not denounce them or discredit them whatsoever. They're doing a very good thing. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, good morning, everyone. So, what we have here is an accumulation of several links, but I've got more. It's not, I'm just not just making a video to post some links. So, hey, go check these guys out. Got some other ideas, guys. Came up with a pretty serious situation. So I looked into, again, I had mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it again on this one. I live in a city that has no abortion clinics, guys. I live in a city that has no abortion clinics. I forget how many miles. It's quite a distance you have to drive to try and find means to get an abortion. So, I wondered how that was. I wondered how did this happen? How does this exist in this way? What happened? So, I read the story and I found out that the dude that was here in this city, Pensacola, was from New Jersey. He was renowned as a psychopath. He was performing abortions out of his van in South Carolina, all over the place. He has reciprocal license, or had operations in so many different states. Dude was a crazy man. Just look up Pensacola abortion clinic shuts down. You'll see the guy's name. I don't remember the guy's name. It doesn't matter. He's done. He's done. I don't know if he's currently locked up. I hope he is. I'm pretty sure he is. I know he was prosecuted. I know that he was convicted. I don't know what his sentencing was, but I know he at least got processed through the judicial system. So, I mentioned in the chat yesterday, I said, no bullets. No bullets. I've got some plans, okay? But I'm gonna need help. Guys, I'm gonna need help. And when I say that, I don't say that lightly, superficially, any of that. I mean it. I need help. We need to band together to do this. So what we have, estimate is 1,793 clinics in America. Okay? 1,793. That's a lot. I found a list. I believe I provided the link. I'm pretty sure I did. I found that list and I saw the list, and I know it's not all 1,793. It could not be. I believe it's at least half, though. I believe it's half. So the list I copied. I went ahead, went to the website. I spent about an hour last night transposing, copying and pasting every state and all the facilities that were listed on this website. And I copied it to a doc and I emailed it to myself. So I have it physically and digitally and reciprocal. And why is that important? Because it provides the address of all of these facilities. Operation Rescue, by the way, sends a postcard or letter, I'm not sure which, but I think it's a postcard, to all the abortion facilities. So they have a list. They might have a more exhaustive list, and yeah, that's the one. So that is obviously, Safe Place Project was a high school project of this girl providing abortion clinic resources to her murdering friends. Well, that's so evil to call a bunch of high school girls that are promiscuous and blah blah blah, calling them murderers. That's just, you listen, it is what it is. That doesn't mean that they're not unredeemable, guys, for crying out loud. We've all sinned. We all fall short of the glory of God. But we need to call sin, sin. And I said, click on this video if you hate sin. So, yeah, it is what it is. So anyway, that website, I copied the list. It's important. Well, what does that list mean? What do you mean by this? So I did some research, and an idea occurred to me that was fantastic, in my opinion. I'm not saying that this is our only fight, but I am saying that this is one potential powerful fight. So in my research, I found ways that clinics can be shut down. Obviously, identifying doctors. By the way, Operation Rescue provides a $25,000 reward to anybody that can provide information that leads to the arrest and conviction of any staff or abortion practitioner. And there's a huge list. If they get arrested and convicted of a traffic ticket, but they're an abortionist, and you led to somehow that happening, money. Well, should we be doing this for the? Why do you want? Why 25,000? They explain that. So the reason that incentivization, that's not a word, but just, go with it. The vehicle in front of me is like smoking on fire. That's not, I mean, they're not on fire, but they're smoking really bad. So why $25,000? It's motivation for somebody that works in the facility, that if they were to call out and the clinic would be shut down, it would destroy their livelihood. The $25,000 is there as an incentive to be able to restart your life, so to speak, to bide you time, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, whatever, to be able to afford to find another job, because you just lost everything when the clinic gets shut down that you were working at, but you did a fantastic thing, so on and so on. That's why that money exists, and that's why an organization like Operation Rescue, receiving donations and receiving funds, is not evil. It's not bad, because they're using those funds in a righteous way. It's a logical, it makes perfect sense, so on and so on. So I'm not here to judge the effectiveness of that little program that they've been running for the last 8 years, but I think it's a good thing, guys. I think it's a good thing. So, got that whistleblower. We've got, I'm gonna be a little disjointed, but I'm gonna try and hit all these points. If you missed the beginning of the video, I mentioned that birth control is a psyop. That's in the description as well. The phrase, okay? Because it implies that you're controlling the birth of a child, and we should denounce that, especially as Christians. For those brothers, sisters in Christ in the chat, or watching this video later on, we should definitely denounce that. I said conception control as an alternative. Contraception is also a sufficient word for what can be used. All right, so abolishhumanslavery.com flips the script. They call the they call the pro-life movement ineffective, potentially evil, and again, ineffective. They make some bold claims. I post a link at the bottom of the links that says something along the lines of a worthwhile sermon. Obviously, I hope you see the evidence of my lack of ability to do perfect quoting, but I do my best to provide you with to provide you. I'm going to be able to pause here for, not pause the video, but take a little break here, not driving, give a little bit more personal attention to this video. Okay, so I just needed to get to a stopping point on the road here. All right, we've got decent lighting. I'm a little shaded, but that's just fine. All right. So, abolishhumanabortion.com is a significantly amazing website, because what they're doing is they're not accepting money. They're volunteering everything, and they're providing active, pragmatic methods and opportunities for people to make a difference. I listened to the sermon. I highly recommend you listening to this guy. He looks a little on the verge of a 40-year, mid-40s hipster. A little bit like that, but also refined. Not hipster really at all, actually. Yeah, no. That's a form of conception control. The implant, okay? That's a form of conception control. It prevents conception. And some contraceptives prevent implant. If you want to get really technical, some of them only prevent implant and not the fertilization process. But listen, it's different. It's different. What I'm talking about by birth control is it implies that there's a human that could be born. That's why I'm saying that that's a psyop. Okay, so so that's what that's about. All right, so I had mentioned that I had a fantastic idea. I can give you full focus and attention to this idea now. 1,793 estimated clinics. Now, what defines a clinic? There are two different types, and that list, by the way, provides, like I said, I think a portion, maybe half of the clinics that exist. So there are medical clinics and surgical clinics and combined clinics that do both. Medical provide chems to kill the baby. Surgical removes something. So if you know anything about this, then you already know that the medical can only happen at an extremely early stage. Does that make it better? No. Does it make it different? Yes, slightly. But they're both doing the same thing. Here's the interesting thing. There is a trend over the last series of years. You can look at the data. A downward trend in surgical facilities. So a net loss of surgical, net loss or net gain of closures, whichever way you want to look at it, of surgical facilities. However, there's a net increase of medical, but overall, I might be misusing the word net because I should use that word. There's an overall net loss. Facilities are closing. Here's an interesting thing. There is a perfect and direct correlation of clinic closure to number of abortions performed. That's a very good statistic to be confident that if we can get one closed, that will represent a direct correlation to less abortions. Access absolutely impacts the number of abortions. Well, if I have to drive 175 miles, I guess I'm just not going to do that. Is kind of what ends up happening, just pragmatically. So here we go, 1,793 current estimated, multiplied by 35 cents. Well, what do you mean? What's 35 cents got to do? That's $627.55. Okay, what are you talking about? Why? What does 35 cents have to do with anything? What is that number? Well, it's the cost of postage on a postcard. Okay, so what does that have to do with anything? So we have lists. We have Operation Rescue, and we have the list of facilities. So there's this little thing called taxes that we hate. There's this little thing called taxes, and we don't like taxes. How can we make taxes work to our advantage? How can we celebrate the fact that there are taxes? Is anybody following me yet? Is anybody thinking what I'm thinking? Well, you see, taxes are public record. Oh, well, you following me yet? Interesting. We have addresses for all the clinics. Guess what? Taxes are public record. It's a big project, guys. Do you know one of the leading methods to getting a clinic shut down? One of the top ways is identifying abortionists that are breaking the law. And they're almost all breaking the law. They're addicted to drugs. They're committing the most heinous acts of aggression, and they're doing not only what they're doing as a doctor, breaking their Hippocratic oath and all that stuff, but what they're doing in their personal life is amazingly absurd. Look at the list. There's a long list of these guys that are getting arrested, that are getting put behind bars because they're dealing drugs. They're doing all kinds of just amazing stuff. They're the worst criminals. The ones that are doing, and you just look at their rap sheets and you're like, but that's a small portion. No, it isn't, guys. How do you sleep at night? How do you rationalize what you're doing on a daily basis unless you're numbing yourself? And guess what? In the ways that they're numbing themselves, they're doing it in illegal ways. So here's the thing. We can identify those abortion doctors, get them convicted. Hypothetically, if you accomplish that, guys, contact Operation Rescue and show and claim your 25 grand. That's nice. But guess what we can do? Guess what we can actually do? We can identify the landlords. The landlords, guys. The landlords. See, the ones that own the buildings, the ones that actually own the clinics, they're called landlords. And did you know that there have been many that have gotten a guilty conscience and said, I'm sorry, this isn't going to work. You have a month to shut things down. I'm done. Yeah, I know. Guys, guilty conscience. I can't support this. You need to get out. I'm going to open up a coffee shop. But guess what really happens? Here's what really happens. Typically, those landlords move on to some other money-making scheme, like, and this might offend somebody, but I don't care. But they open up like a medical marijuana facility, and that's a topic for a different day. Somebody was asking in the chat yesterday. I think it was Brewing Bear, which is worse, beer or marijuana. That's a topic for a different day. How do we contact the landlords, guys? Well, guess what? You got addresses and you got taxes. You've got taxes. The tenants don't pay the taxes. The landlords pay the taxes. Isn't it beautiful that we can make good from something that we all hate? Taxes. Oh, I don't hate taxes. I mean... Okay, guys. Come on. I think you get the point. That's how. Guys, that's how. No, not tax evasion. And they might be doing that, but that's not my point. My point is, we take the addresses. It's a project. It's a long-term project. We take the addresses. We identify who's paying the taxes. It's not that hard to do property lookup. It's not that hard. How do you know all this? Because I work in the real estate genre, so to speak, in the documentation process of a real estate loan refinance. So I'm processing paperwork all the time. So the thought occurred to me, because I'm always looking up taxes, NETR.com. I think it's .com. Pretty sure it's .com. Netter. We call it Netter. At NETR.com helps you identify the proper. It shows a map of the whole United States. You click on a state. You click on assessor info or tax assessor or something along those lines. You type in the address or the parcel ID of a property, and you can read all the information about who's paying taxes. And that's the process. So remember that website, NETR.com, and that's how you that's a completely public information kind of thing. You don't need a sign-in. You don't need anything. You just go to the website. You click on the map, and you do a property search in the state that you're looking at, and you need to know the county. It's a little multi-step process. You look up the who's paying the taxes, and then you search their name. You try and find some. Yeah. So then you are able to search their name. You find out another property that they own. Potentially, you cross-reference via Google. See if it's a residential address. And we don't need to face-to-face anybody. This is the postcard idea. Obviously, $627.55 is the postage cost. There's then the cost of the postcards themselves, which would obviously be somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 cents, which would be another about $900. So about $1,500 altogether, and that would take time to coordinate, but Netter is not listed. I didn't list that link, but I can post it and pin it as a comment. But what we need to do is we need to collaborate. No, they would not want people to know that they are leasing property. You're right, but it's public information. That's my point. And what you do is you send a postcard, not, I know where you live. I know what you did last summer. That's not what I'm talking about. Clever things, guys. Wise things. Here's one of many possibilities. What if God judged you for all the abortions? That's it. You open up your mailbox. Oh, it's a postcard. What's this? What if God judged you for all the What? What? What the what? 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 I mean, not everybody. So let me take this back. everybody has a conscience. There are a lot of hardened hearts, okay? There are numb people. I get it. There are people that have totally abandoned God and likely will never turn from their sin. That's the unfortunate truth. However, 1,793, I don't know how many duplicate landlords there will be amongst the 1,793 facilities. I don't know. Okay, I don't know how much overlap there is, but let's just say there's around 1,800 landlords. Okay, Jesse Lee Peterson, I posted a video about how that guy's a false teacher. He's a fun entertainer, okay? He says some things that are true, but Jesse Lee Peterson is not a preacher. He's not a pastor. He may claim to be one, but you need to be very careful about some of the things that he's saying, okay? Just watch him for entertainment value. He could. That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, he's hilarious, guys. He's hilarious. But he doesn't yeah, I don't know. Some people they're wanting to give him lots of money for the silent prayer thing, which I believe is Eastern mysticism, and I have reasons to back that up. He's identifying chakra points and all kinds of interesting stuff. It's not interesting. It's only interesting if you're trying to avoid the trickery. Here's the thing. I don't want money. I need money. Don't get me wrong. I need money. But I'm not doing this for financial gain. And that's what was convicting about abolishhumanabortion.com. They don't take money. And that's one of this has been a recurring conversation between my wife and I and other friends, is how do you operate righteously, wholesome, doing the right thing, and also survive. So, for instance, how does a church operate without accidentally becoming a business? How does anybody that's trying to do good operate without accidentally becoming a business? And it's just tough. It's very tough. There's no easy answer. So, anyway, that's kind of, I wanted to say that this isn't for me. This is something that we can all independently work towards. We can identify what states and what portions of the states. This is something that we can collectively work on. Okay, I've posted a link to the GroupMe, which I appreciate. There's also Discord, where bears have joined together. We can make a channel on Discord. We can join together on GroupMe. There's the unbearables.site that is also a forum. We can link, I think that probably would be the easiest. Unbearables.site is a forum app, and I think that if we changed or added start a new category, the abortion clinic takedown, title it something like that, and we can just post on there, hey, I'm gonna take these 5 facilities and research and identify their landlords, and I'm gonna send out, it's gonna cost me about $10, and I'm gonna make it happen. But working together on this, 1793, if we have 100 people, well, that means that we need, everybody needs to do 17 or 18. If we had 100 people doing this, each of us would need to take on about 17 to 18 facilities. How much time would it take to identify the landlord and identify their potential mailing address, to purchase a postcard and mail it, all of that can be done in 4 hours or less. That's one. So what we're talking about here is 1,800 times 4 hours, which you got 7,200 hours. Okay? That's a lot of time. You got to break it up though. So let's say everybody had 72 hours. It would take you 72, but that's not true at all, because it would be combined. It would, see, doing 18 versus doing 1, it really wouldn't add that much time. The more you do, the more time saved. Are you getting my point? Let me show you the process again. Let me explain this again. We've got a list of at least half. Most of them are Planned Parenthood, but they're not owned by the government. The buildings aren't. There's landlords. We identify the landlords by using something called Netter, netr.com. I'll post the link just for clarity's sake. It'll be pinned as a comment. We identify their residential address and we send a postcard to them with one of many kind, simple, non-threatening statements on the postcard, clear to read. And what I was saying is something along the lines of, what if God held you accountable for all the abortions? Or what if God judged you for all the abortions? That's not a perfect, I'm not claiming that I came up with this perfect convicting phrase to just smack somebody in the face. I'm not saying that that's the perfect thing. I'm saying it's one potential of many possible things we could say but it's got to be short. It's got to be, you can't write a long letter. I mean, you can. I think short and sweet, I think short and sweet. Well, like I was saying, I think postcards go around 50 cents each, right? Yeah. So this is one tactic, okay? This is one takedown tactic. It's not exclusively the only one that's going to work. There are other ways. The other ways take relationship, for instance, right? Yeah, you can. You're right. And you can print your own. You can buy prepaid ones. There's a lot of different methods, guys. There's a lot of different methods. There are other takedown methods, but they typically involve more time, more relationship. Again, watch the sermon. If you listen to it, you don't need to watch. You blink at the guy, see what he looks like, and then listen to it, right? Not that it matters what the dude looks like. That's telling the sermon. So this is one takedown technique, guys. It's one technique. We should pray, but we don't need to pray at the facility. God hears us anywhere. You can pray in your home. That's mentioned in the sermon. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Relationship, though. Okay, so you can develop relationship with the staff and stuff like that. You can visit the facility on a regular basis. They might end up getting a restraining order or whatever. There's other techniques. There's people that they're retired and they literally spend 40, 50 hours every week, every single week. That's all they do. 50 hours a week, 40 hours a week. They just campaign out in front of the clinic. So, guys, there's a lot of methods. This is one of many methods. They say that one of the leading methods to getting these things shut down is by conviction when the landlord doesn't want to be associated with an abortion clinic. Why does that happen? Guilty conscience, guys. This isn't some vague, hypothetical evil, guys. It's not. It's not something that may or may not be evil. It's something that's objectively evil. Objectively. It's not an opinion, okay? And the reason that abolish human slavery, abolish human abortion. That's what it makes you think, and it is related. But the reason that website is so excellent, because they will help you understand that pro-life as a movement, okay? Pro-life as a movement is not doing the job. It's not doing the job. And here's what's interesting. They make the explicit statement that pro-life, anybody can be pro-life. Anybody can. Non-religious, religious. It requires a Christian to be an abolitionist, because only a Christian can say, according to what they're saying, and I happen to believe, that a Christian believes in a moral absolute, in absolute truth, in that God declares the law. Okay? Other people can think it's wrong that aren't Christians, but they have to justify why it's wrong. And where are you getting your evidence for why it's wrong except from God? So anyway, abolition, guys. Check out their website. It's well done. They don't want your money, okay? And we know that this is going to take a group effort. Not one person can take on 1,800 postcards, okay? I doubt that that's the best means. I think it needs to be shared. And I think that if we can do this, if for $1,500, guys, shared among, and I mean, think about 1,500 split 100 ways, that's $15. If we can do that and one shuts down, how much would it be worth it to do it again? Another $15. Another $15. If 100 of us spends $15 and gets one facility shut down, just one, I think our $15 was worth it. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. The percent, and I'm not saying that it would happen every time. Okay, I'm not saying that it would happen every time, but if it could happen, one out of 1,800 gets shut down, if that was possible, then it would be so worth it, obviously. But maybe it would take 3 times, $45. And then if we did it 100 times and none shut down ever, well, maybe it was not an effective practice. I happen to think that out of 1,800 sets of eyes, that at least one of those people would get struck by God with conviction and go, no, I can't do this. You're right. This is not okay. This is not okay. I've got to do something about this. And you could put a phone number. You could do something. Yeah, breath of fresh air. Breath of Fresh Bear is on the. He's on the group me. Nathaniel and Breath of Fresh Bear are the only ones. You can post a share link. I'm fine with as many bears to be on that. It's fine. So anyway, guys, when this occurred to me, I had a little more hope. I went, there is something we can tangibly, pragmatically do. And it's something worth doing. It's something worth doing. I get nauseated at us arguing about meaningless things. And let me rant for 3 minutes. See if I can knock this out in 3 minutes. I'm going to rant, okay? Okay? When we argue about the moon landing, Satan is winning. Okay? Yeah, but the 50, 60 million dollars a day and taxes and okay. But you're still going to pay your taxes, aren't you? And they're still going to misappropriate your funds, your taxes. They're still going to misspend your taxes somewhere because there are sinners in government and they sin and they're evil and they will do horrible things. What does the Bible say about what we do with our obligations to the government? Render to Caesar what is Caesar's. Jesus. So, we pray for our government. Okay? We vote as Christians. That's what we do. That's what we can do about it. But as much time as we can waste on flat, on NASA, on any of that garbage, it's not garbage. They need called out. They're already called out. Sinners are sinners. That's my rant. Sinners are sinners. It shouldn't be a surprise that sinners sin and are not trustworthy. I hope you get it. Do you get it? Oh my gosh, guys. It nauseates me for real. I don't like wasted time. I want us to tangibly do things that are going to help save lives. Okay? And we need to care about widows. We need to care about orphans. We need to care about those who don't have a voice. And guess what? There are a lot of people that pretend to not have a voice, but they have the biggest voice. Minorities. Minorities always have a huge voice. Oligarchies. Throughout history, guys. Throughout history, minorities have been in charge. And anytime that there's ever been some form of a massive democracy, a mob rule, that hasn't worked out well either. Guess what a really great time of perfect democracy was? It's called the Tower of Babel. That was as perfect democracy as democracy could possibly be. All people on the planet were unified with a single mission. Guess what they wanted to do? Go read it. So the point is, minority isn't necessarily evil. It needs to be the right minority. RIGHT for any future psychopaths that think that I said a word that rhymed with right. Okay? It's a side topic. Way off. Just way